Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the comic collector geek, and we're just hanging out. That's the theme of the show is us hanging out. um, Actually, it's really funny. Like you know how I always do, "Hello, comic collector." On Bleaker's channel, they were all making fun of me. They're all mimicking my "Hello, my fellow comic book collectors." Yeah, that's my trademark, though. So
They're just jealous. They're just
yeah,
jealous because you
yeah.
have.
So I have that. That's my one thing, right? So
That's your intro.
K Mutin's always very loyal here.
Communion's on the job.
Hey, good evening, K Mutin. He always asks the best questions. Like I always enjoy his questions. So yeah. I forgot what his question is this week, but I will be answering it soon. Um I'm actually thinking I discovered something on my phone that's
Hmm.
gonna allow me to do something really cool on my channel. So uh if you did you watch the Keston video that I did on Saturday? Like with the airplane and then
Yes, I did.
okay, so that it's like really short. It's like only a minute long, but that
Right.
video took me very little time to prepare. Like I thought, oh, editing, splicing all the videos together would be really like tedious and annoying, but it actually was really easy. So so I'm gonna do more of those with voiceovers and like showing different things.
Oh, that sounds nice. What was
Yeah,
the
that
book?
should be.
I remember the book you showed at the very end. I have the book, but I can't remember what he
It's
showed.
18.
Yeah, the 18.
So
I just picked up a
not a
red
big book,
copy of that a little while ago
but he
from my
picked it up
buddy.
cheap. He picked it up cheap, actually.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
I think that I think that it has a certain appeal for the people that
Mhm.
remember the 18. Uh,
Right. Yeah.
and
I mean, it was a great show. I just want to quickly say hi to people. Hi, buried under comics and cards, cards and comics, and hi, Epoch. Actually, buried under cards and comics. He was on my channel once before. I'm not sure if you've seen that video, but and Graphic Man is here. Graphic Man, by the way, your package for me is arriving on Thursday, just so you know. I'm looking forward to getting that. So, Graphic Man, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he does these amazing posters where he takes like some like golden age book and then he will take his cover, scan it, and then kind of alter it to be
oh, I
something
do
kind of
remember
fun.
that. He was doing a lot with Tony the Tiger
Tony the Tiger and stuff. So,
and some of
so
that stuff. Yeah, that's fun stuff.
yeah, so I actually wanted to order from him some of those things because I thought they were so great. I wanted to, buy a few from him. And he's like, "Oh, no, no, I'll just give it to you for free." I'm like, "Oh, oh, I feel so
Mm.
guilty." I'm so guilty. But I actually accepted the free thing because I'm totally poor. So, um I bought too many comics. But yeah. So, thank you, Graphic Man, and I figure I'll give him a little shout out there. Um Hey, and Night Tiger is here too. Um, wow.
Hi,
Lots of
Michael.
Hey, Michael. Um, and Kenneth. And yeah, so actually I was just chatting with Night Tiger on Instagram about A. Do you know that series? A?
Yes, exclamation point.
Yeah, A.
Is
It's
he
very
too? Is he
Canadian.
number two that has the one gal that's walking in the purple dress or the pink purple
Yeah,
dress?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
That's the
great
image
for
they
good
have
girl
out of that.
covers. Yeah, yeah. There's like 3 or 4 good girl art covers in the run. It's quite nice. So I actually
Michael
completed the whole run for that reason.
Michael commented on my Instagram. I posted a portion of my Mattel and late 50s and early 1960s weaponry, cap guns, and what have you. And he had indicated that he had started collecting some of that stuff too. When eBay first started, one of the very first things I did
Hmm.
was I noticed they had Western toys and then cap guns. I said, "Oh, I wonder what they have." Oh, they had a bunch of really good stuff.
Hmm.
And so I bought right at the very beginning a bunch of the toys that I had as a kid that were
Okay.
broken and were
Yeah, you
lost and
wanted
all.
to get the nice versions of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I have a quite a spectacular arsenal of Mattel guns and Marks and some other stuff as well, Nichols and some of
Hmm.
that other stuff. So it was interesting, when you talk about what other things do you collect.
Hmm.
That's one of the things I did collect, and yank those out. I just actually pulled a whole bunch of them out to take pictures and what have you, just for fun, just episodically to put. I don't think they don't do a land off.
Yeah, because you got comic people watching your thing. It's
Well,
like,
I
oh,
know
this is.
it's not a land office posting on Instagram for sure, but I
Hmm.
do love to do that, like die-cast cars and stuff too. I do; those are things that I do love. But
Hmm.
do you see the little figurine behind me
Yeah, I was looking at that. That looks
with
like
the red
Howdy
hand?
Doody. It looks like
Do you,
Howdy Doody. I went almost.
well, I can understand, but Howdy Doody is a redhead with sort of.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
this
know.
his his name is Marky Mapo. And here in the
Marky
United
Maple.
States, we had a maple cereal, hot cereal called Mapo. And there was a
Mhm.
cartoon that they had with this kid with jug ears, and he looks like he has a speech impediment, his problems, and his father's trying to convince him to eat Mapo. And so he says he's coming to the hangar. He's coming to the hangar. Hello, Sue. He's coming to the hangar. He's coming to the hangar, and the kid's going like this, and he hits the father's hand, and it goes into the father's mouth, and the father goes, mmm. And then he starts eating, and the kid goes, I want my maple. If you YouTube it, it comes up. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
But that's Marky Mapo. He's a bank so that would have been from like 1957 or 1956. One of the little kitsch type stores here in Seaside had that.
Mhm.
And I had to get Marky Mapo.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. Actually, I was just thinking when you were talking about the early days of eBay, I remember having to get like a money order, like and then you would mail it off to some random person and hope and just pray, please, are they going to send the books? Are they going to send what I ordered? And you'd never know, right? It was a
It was a
high
different,
trust, high
yeah.
trust situation.
PayPal changed all of that.
Hmm.
And of course, I used a credit card to begin with, because you have protection with a credit card. You can always dispute the charge if it doesn't go through, or if they try to pull
A
a
lot of them
fast.
wouldn't accept credit card back in the day.
Well, maybe I was a little bit later in, but yeah. But I remember sending checks too, and then we will have to wait for it to clear, and that's when you send a certified, and they
Yeah,
still
yeah.
make you wait and all that stuff. This now it's just click bang and you're done, which is fun.
Hmm. So
Toy
I
ray
guess
guns are cool too. I
I
have
always loved them too.
the
Yeah.
two ray guns I have, or you could call them ray guns, are those two Daisy pop pistols I have, Michael. I have the Buck Rogers from 1934, and I have the Wilma Deering from 1935. And there was one other atomic. David Schaefer has those. He has the full set of them because he's David Schaefer Comics and Toys are actually toys and comics. He's got a
Mhm.
phenomenal toy collection and a phenomenal comic collection too. Um, Very cool, Michael.
Good.
I look forward
Yeah,
to seeing him on your. I look forward to seeing him on your site.
I actually have a few ray guns and stuff like that. I have one from my dad's collection when he was a kid, like a Flash Gordon one, and then
Well,
I
where
also
is
have
it?
like
Where is
what?
it? Where is
It's,
it?
it's probably in Cape Breton. So back in
In
my
where?
parents' house, Cape Breton,
Cape Breton?
Cape Breton,
Cape Breton. Is it
Breton,
Breton? B
Brett,
R E
Brett,
or
Breton, Breton.
Breton?
Yes, Cape Breton. So it's a very famous island actually. Um,
Oh, I talk about it all the time.
exactly, exactly. If you knew it, you knew it. Yeah, it's like it's very famous historically
Well, I'm sure
speaking.
that the Canadian collectors up there in Bleecker and all those guys probably know it cold as good God get a grip.
Yeah, well,
Is
have
that-
you ever heard of the telephone?
What's that?
Yeah, it was invented in Cape Breton.
You mean Alexander Graham Bell it came up with it
Mhm.
up there?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
what were the first words across? And what was the name of his
Oh,
assistant?
I forgot what it was. It was like something. Can you bring this over? Something Francis or whatever his name was. I forgot what it was.
What was Alexander Graham Bell's assistant's name? Do you know,
Ah,
Sue?
I forgot. I forgot his name.
What?
I forgot his name actually. I should know. I once I hear it, I'll know it, but I've totally blanked on
Was
it.
it? I'm tempted to say Watson, but I'm not sure. But "Come quickly, I need you" were the first words
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Come quickly, I need you. Some bring some
he
over. Yeah,
spilled acid on himself, and when he yelled that, the other guy was wherever he was, heard it and came running.
Watson.
Watson, see, it was Watson.
It was
Watson,
Watson. Yeah,
Watson, come quickly, I need you.
yeah,
Those were
yeah,
the
yeah.
first words uttered
First
in a
words over
telephone.
the. Yeah, I
He
knew
says,
that
"Watson,
actually.
help me, I'm in Breton."
Yeah, well, so Alexander Graham Bell, he had like his summer home in Cape Breton, and yeah, that was like the thing. He did the telephone thing there. He did some of his earliest flights were in Cape Breton, where they literally would wait for the lake to freeze over, and then they would fly off on the make it like a little runway on this frozen lake in front of their house.
His wife and I think his child were deaf, and he worked
Yeah, that's
very
right.
tirelessly to help people who are that are deaf, and
Yeah,
did a lot of very wonderful stuff on
yeah.
that.
If you go to the Alexander Graham Bell Museum in Cape Breton, then you can see all these like early inventions that he created to help deaf people. Like he created all these gloves with letters on them and stuff like that. And he worked with Keller, Helen Keller,
Helen
right?
Keller,
Yeah. So that kind of stuff. It's a cool museum. Like I used to visit it like every summer, just like as a thing to do. Yeah, but
are they? Is it Cape Breton,
Cape, like as in Cape, like a
as in Cape?
superhero
I,
thing.
I
Yeah.
dig. So, what other museums do you have besides Alexander Graham Bell?
That's actually the smaller one. So there's the Fortress of Louisburg. Okay, so Fortress of Louisburg is massive. It's like the largest reconstruction on the planet. It's basically what happened was back in the day, going back a few hundred years now, there was like a French fortress called Louisburg, okay, which was just sort of so the way the British built their things, they would create a citadel and then they would have like the township around, right? The French did it the opposite way. So the French would build their town and then build a thing around it. So the fortress of Louisburg basically was a city that was fortified,
City State,
and
yeah.
yeah, and so they rebuilt it, and it's like it's this massive reconstruction of a
Yeah,
like a 18th century fortress, basically.
very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's it's like they they all pretend to be like when you meet the people there, if you speak English to them, they say, "Oh, we got to take you to the brig," like, it's fun. It's like it's a silly thing, but they all pretend to be in that time period, right? So it's fun.
Very good.
Um,
You
yeah,
might
it's a
check your
cool.
chat and see if you got people talking to you.
Yeah, yeah. So more okay. So and he asks if you actually collect action figures.
I do. I have the Kenner superheroes. I've got pretty much all of them, including the Golden Pharaoh and Captain Marvel. And I don't. I think there may be a couple I'm missing, but I have. They're all mint on card. I started collecting those in the early '80s, and when I was buying action figures for my boys, would they get the Ninja Turtles or they would be getting Masters of the Universe type ones, and they'd have huge
Mhm.
brawls with those. And I would buy these Kenner superheroes, and they say, "Well, let's get it out of the pack, Dad, and you can Plastic Man, and we'll come get you." And I said, "No, no, these I'm not buying to play with. I'm just buying these to have these." And they couldn't understand. I said, "Why would you want it then? If you don't play with it, why would you want it?" Which is a
Mhm.
very logical argument from a
Very
kid.
logical. Yeah.
And but no, I have those. I have various things. I have an unopened case of the Death of Superman cards.
Oh,
Um,
okay. It's interesting.
with all the, and then I have another. I have a set of the actual with all the chase cards. A lot of stuff. I had a lot of Trailblazer stuff when Drexler was there with them.
Hmm.
That kind of collectible stuff. I have various and assorted other little stuff that I have my toy cap guns. But then I have the comics, which is the biggest one
The
for me, and
big
it's been
bulk.
the
Yeah.
longest one is the comics for sure. But I do appreciate that other stuff too.
I'm actually going to show some comics. So every so often, what I'll do is I'll show a few books
Please do.
just just to give sort of a breakup.
Yeah,
With,
from this boring conversation,
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
show
yeah.
some.
Well, actually, I want to show this one, and I think this is the one that we were both confused by. I want to show this one, and you'll see what I mean. One sec here. So I got rid of you. Sorry, you've been gotten rid of. But I wanted to show you this book, okay? And this is Moon, a Girl, a Romance, right? Or Moon, a Girl, Romance. Okay. So this is the L. Felstein cover. This one, the reason I think we got confused by this is the one. Remember, the one with the I forget what is it called? The one where it's like the guy, he's wearing like this kind of checkered shirt. See that checker?
True to life romances.
Yeah, true to life romances. Thank you.
11, yeah.
Yeah. So isn't that the same checkered pattern, same colors?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think we were getting like, so when I was thinking I had that other one, I think I was
That's
thinking
the one
about
you
this book
actually had.
because of the checkered. It was the checkered that was throwing me off. So that's why, and it's kind of a similar theme, right? The skis on the in the fireplace
Well,
and
almost identical. The only difference is it doesn't have the jilted woman at the doorway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is kind of made me think, oh, this is the one that reminds me of it.
What number
So
is that?
this is number 11. So it's actually an interesting thing because Moon Girl, which is this is based on, right? Um, was the only EC superhero. EC didn't have any superheroes except for Moon Girl,
Mm.
and it just didn't do that well. So they kept on changing it. They made it a romance book eventually. So I don't know. I thought this was a cool one. So yeah. So there's that. I'm not sure if I've shown this in the recent unboxing yet or not. Did I show this one yet? Have you seen this one in my collection yet?
You had mentioned that you had gotten it. I haven't seen it yet, though.
Okay, so this is a surprise, early surprise. Still watch my unboxings, but this is going to be in there somewhere. But yeah, this one is Miss America #1. Uh, doesn't have any cool first appearances or anything. She actually made her appearance earlier, but I just always liked this cover. It's a Ken Bald cover. Um, I just thought it was always cool. I don't know. Do you like this one or?
Oh no, I do. I like it. It's very well laid out, and she's
Mhm.
giant. She's a colossus there because the city behind her.
Yeah,
I
and you
think. I
see the
mean,
little one
that.
second.
Yeah, everything's. I love it. I think it's a
See the
great
little
cover.
bad guys there. Even like I'm not sure if you can see that. They're shooting at her legs, but it doesn't hurt her because she's so giant, right?
What's the title of that other one that you just showed? A girl.
A girl, a moon, a girl, a romance. A moon, a girl, romance. It's a weird title.
It is a
Why does
very
that
odd title.
get a 3.5 grade? It sounds like a broken record, but these comics always look better than they grade. Given grade. I actually don't know why this one. I think the spine's a little rough. Looking at it, I'm looking at the spine. One sec here. Spine's a little rough. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anything really wrong with it. It looks like it should be cleaned.
Well, it presents very nicely, but yeah, but I think their paper too, they're sort of darker, you know?
I think it. Yeah, it looks like it could be. If it was cleaned, it would be like present a little bit better. It's a bit faded at the top here, actually. The yellows.
But that's a really tough book and an expensive book to boot.
Yeah. Excuse me. I actually
Bless
paid
you.
a lot. I actually paid a lot for this one, but I got it under the last sale for it. Oh, he was asking about this one. Why this one was a 3.5? Oh, sorry, I got the books mixed up. Geez, I have no idea. Oh, okay, I know why this is a 3.5, and this is the lamest 3.5 ever. So it looks like really sharp, right? Actually, it probably would grade out at a 6, I would say,
Yeah.
if you just go by the front.
Yeah.
On the back, right there, I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you see it? Wait, the tape is in the way, but there's a piece missing.
Okay. That got you the 3.5?
Yeah, that's it. That's the only flaw. It's actually the
Okay.
spine's really good.
I just
There's a
saw
bit of a corner thing there, but that'd be about
I
it.
just saw I just saw that book um, on my comic shop, and I was looking at it, and I decided, I'm just looking at it now, and their picture of it, it looks as though it has a purple. The background is, oh no, it's blue, but they
Yeah,
have
it's
a
blue.
CGC 4.5 for $1,100.
Yeah, it's an expensive book. Yeah, it's really
Eleven.
hard to get. Yeah, it's no, that's about right. That's actually a fair price for that book, believe it or not.
Lord,
Um,
that's
and then
expensive.
here's Patsy Walker #1. This is another expensive one. I always loved this cover though. I always thought it was cute. So Patsy Walker #1. I like the pillow. Pillow's cool, and she's doing the whole leg thing. So another one I really liked.
Well, the trope with the pillow on the fanny is always good if they're roller skating or if they're
Yeah,
ice skating or any
skating or
of that.
something.
That's
Yeah.
the trope, you know. Have the pillow.
And then, so the reason I have all these ones handy is I'm actually in the process of resorting them out. I kind of want to put all my good girl comics into one section. These are all
Great.
my good girl stuff. We got all my Annie Oakleys as well.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, this is Annie Oakley
The
#4.
green. You have the transitioning green with the bright yellow and red accents. You can't go wrong with that one. That's a
Yeah,
beauty,
it's really cool. Yeah, it's
and
I
that's
actually
Ken
like.
Gold too, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. No, it says Earl James cover. It
Hmm.
almost looks like Ken Ball, just the style. Like I
Look at the
found
face. Look at the
just the
face.
way. And the legs, like the way he always does them a little bit thicker. Like the women are a bit thick. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you know what I mean by that, but yeah. Okay, so that's #4, and here's #3.
Very good. I love
Um,
those.
and she's got the guy skipping through the rope. I think that's fun. You know,
And that's over. That's a 4.5.
it's a 4,
That's a.
but
I'll tell you,
nice,
getting those books
really
in
good
fours.
percentage. What?
Getting those books in a 4 is amazing because they just don't survive at all.
Yeah, no, there's not. It's a fairly rare comic, and actually it presents really well. I think the issue with this one is around the staple. There's like
Mm.
some it might be a little loose around that staple, I'd say.
Is that 51, 52,
48.
48? Gee.
Yeah, yeah. So and this one's in really high grade. I was quite excited to get this one. Happy Hooligans. This is origin, well, and first appearance of Moon Girl.
Ah,
So Moon Girl kind of appeared in this and in Moon Girl #1 at the same time.
fair enough.
So yeah, but this one, really high grade, like a 8.0.
Way high.
Yeah, so I kind of overpaid actually, but I kind of wanted it. I didn't think I would ever see it again, and then afterwards there was a whole bunch of low grades that came up, and I wish I'd sort
Probably
of
because probably because of the sale you had with the 8.0.
probably, yeah, I kind of overpaid. I was a little bit annoyed because it's not that I go for high grades. I'm actually one of those few people that doesn't chase after the high grades. I kind of prefer to get a lower grade and save a bit more money so that I can buy other books. As long as it presents well, I'm pretty much happy. But I didn't think I would have another chance to get it, so that's why I kind of paid up a bit for it.
I've done that
Um,
before.
Yeah, but I know you like the high grades though. You actually go after those higher grades, but I'm not as keen on that. But this is a series I really like. Junior. I don't know. Do you have any of these in your collection
Quite a few.
of the
I
juniors
have
and
almost
Sunnies?
I almost have the complete set.
I have the
Um,
complete set
yeah,
of
but
both.
the thing
Yeah.
about it, that particular book right there One of them is up right now somewhere for a huge amount of money. See, I
Mhm.
get these bubbles that show up with thumbs up and thumbs down.
Yeah, somebody just thumbs down me, I think. I don't
Somebody
know. They
gave us
didn't.
a thumbs down. I don't
What?
get that.
Why? What the thumb? Okay, everyone else, to balance out that thumbs down, please give this video a thumbs up if you can. I don't know. I don't know why I got a thumbs down. They don't like
Really?
Junior. So yeah, this is, I always like this. This is another Al Feldstein cover, and just I always like Junior and Sunny. I think they have the best good girl art of any comics, actually.
Well, yeah,
Um,
Al Feldstein, truthfully, same thing with Corliss Archer. The
mhm.
two Corliss Archers are very
Yeah,
good, 1 and 2.
yeah, and it's not just the cover. It's
It's
like
the
the
interior,
interior
the
is
whole book.
really good, the whole book, and it's really great. It's just amazing stuff. Because he did everything. He did the whole thing. He wrote it, and
Alan,
you know,
that's the reason why his output at the Iger House when he was there as well. That's why his output wasn't perhaps as magnificent as Baker and Kamen, because they would do maybe a story and the cover where he had
mhm.
to write and
Do
he had
everything.
to do everything. So, but he was all condensed into those two titles with both of those. Is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, he also did another series of just a little bit of it, called Haphazard and Homer, something Homer. I forget what it was called, but they didn't pay him, so he he ended up leaving and then working for Fox. Um,
Now, was he? But the thing is, Fox had Iger, the Iger House. So
yeah,
I don't know if the Iger House got the work out of them, and then if Fox didn't pay, then they wouldn't pay them through. But they were working for Iger. I've never quite understood that, unless they had a separate, unless they were working separately and independently from the Iger House to work for Fox. I've never got a clarity on that. Next Wednesday, I know I'll get an answer though.
uh-oh. Yeah, you can put it in this Wednesday's video, and I'll look for you. I'll find out the proper answer. So yeah, this is another Junior. I know you have that Junior. I've seen you have it before. Yours was a much higher grade though, I think. And then this
Yeah,
one.
I can see the one behind you too with the gal on the roller coaster, which is really good with the legs out.
Yeah, that's my actually my one of my favorite from the run. I like roller coasters just on covers. I think it's kind of fun. Oh, and this one is very you. You'll like this one. Um,
Ah, yes.
yes,
Did
it
you
was
ever
you
get
that got me into this series. So
did you ever have a chance to look inside? I mean, somewhere in your travels online to look at the interior?
I looked. I read not just. I didn't read this one, but I read the issue with the first appearance of Fly Girl,
Okay,
and I.
you must read that one, and I tell you why. The center spread of that is what they call a wide angle scream. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
2 pages and it's just wild. It's like he ate magic mushrooms and then he draws this thing and it's so esoteric. It's amazing what they do and the proportions and stuff. And the first
Mhm.
3 issues, the first actually issue 1 and 2 are Simon and Kirby.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah, it says Simon and Kirby story, and Jack Kirby and Joe Simon cover and art. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
and that was
it looks like their style actually. If you look at it, I mean it's very
so that's
Kirby
like 1959, isn't it? 58, 59.
59. Yep, 59.
See, and when they left their various, when they left where they were to work for the company that produced Fighting American, it
Yeah,
really
so
could. Well, the
it
reason it
really.
is because it was the first incarnation of their insect character.
Mhm.
And then they went with Spider-Man, or Kirby went with Spider-Man and with Stan Lee, and then whoever between the two of them made it, and Stan took credit, which is what he always would do. But much like Bob Kane would always do, to the
Mhm.
chagrin of Jerry
To Bill
Robbins and Bill
and
Finger.
Finger. Yeah.
But that being said, they had The Fly was the first fly, and the origin for the fly.
Hmm.
The very couple first issues, he's a little orphan kid named Tommy Troy, and this old man and this old woman who are very eccentric and weird
Hmm.
adopt him and to do work, and they beat him all the time. They beat him and they make him do all the work, and they said, but whatever you do, don't go into this room. You're not allowed to go in this room
Okay.
ever.
And of course.
And of course, goes into the room. They're out somewhere. He goes in the room and he finds this ring. He
Hmm.
rubs the ring, and then this bubble opens up, and here is Turan, emissary of the fly people. And they
Hmm.
tell this story about how the flies ruled the world, and then they got atomic weapons, and then they had a huge atomic war, and they were all shrunk down into little bugs, and that was their penalty for having nuclear weapons. And
Hmm.
he was one of the few that shifted into another dimension. And then by virtue of, for whatever reason, he said, if you want to, I will bestow these powers to you. And so, and whenever he wanted to turn into the fly, he says, I want to be the fly. And then
Okay.
he would turn in, he was a grown man, a la Captain Marvel and Billy Batson. And he had a buzz
Hmm.
gun. He came fully equipped with and wings on the back and
So
all that.
normally he's a boy.
And he's a little boy, but it's very Billy Batson. He turns into a grown man.
Hmm.
And I think the buzz gun worked maybe in one episode, one book.
Hmm.
And then from then on, whenever he used his buzz gun, strange, my buzz gun has no effect on this monster. They didn't want to have it
It's
be
just
easy.
too overpowered.
And then the fly's powers morphed through the whole run,
Hmm.
and it became where, what powers did he have? And they became grander and grander and grander. He has the power of the bugs, of millions of bugs or whatever. He
Oh,
can
so he
command. He
can
can talk to
unleash the
bugs.
bugs on you and stuff like that, or?
Well, he talks to bugs, and the
Hmm.
bugs, even on foreign planets, alien worlds, would do what he asked them to do. It was really cool, and the artwork on the inside was very good. And I also think Fly Girl was really good too. Kim
Hmm.
Brand was her name.
Yes, yes.
And Tommy Troy turned into
I'll have to
a.
read the series. I'll probably
It's really
after
a
this recording, I'll read the whole thing. Right, I'll
it's a really
read the
good
whole thing.
story, but the artwork of the first two or three, uh,
Hmm.
Tim Casey's Wrecking Crew. It's a white cover with a kind of a leprechaun guy. But
Hmm.
then issue three has just a little bit of Simon and Kirby, or just Simon, I guess. And then
Hmm.
after that, then it goes on to the other guys that had it, Rosenberger, and then there was another fella.
Hmm.
But their artwork is very good too. But the wide angle screens that Simon and Kirby did for one and two are just amazing, truly amazing stuff.
So it'd be
Right
always
out of
like a
the
centerfold spread kind of idea, like.
centerfold spread, and that was after they had done that whole series of Fighting American.
Hello. Okay, that's very cool.
And
So
Fighting
yeah.
American, if you haven't read Fighting American, it really is. It's really about it's against the commies basically,
Hmm.
and then they kind of feathered it back. They didn't wait. Then they made a more uh, comedic kind of things that was going on. But it's Simon and Kirby on their own, because they were able to do whatever they wanted to do. I can't remember if it was Best Comics or whatever, but they gave them their heads to just do what you want to do. Black
Hmm.
Magic, and some of these others, B Bar B. I mean, I think they did some of those too. So
Okay,
anyway,
that's cool. I didn't know all that, but yeah, I'll definitely read the full. Yeah, so they actually even mention. The funny thing is, they actually even mention the wide angle screen right there. Yeah, I don't know. They
it's
advertise
cool.
it, so
I'll be curious
very
to hear
cool.
what you think about it.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I actually know a few sites where I can read all the issues fairly easily, so I'm definitely do that. Yeah, I only read a couple. I read two issues so far from it. There was the one because of you mentioned some clothing wardrobe malfunction one, and
Yeah.
then so I read that one. You know, it's where my mind goes. Okay.
Well, it's a very. I actually did a full feature for that on the comic book marketplace,
Mhm.
where I had that issue 21 or 22, whatever it is,
Yeah,
the
it was
white
one of
paper,
those ones. Yeah.
where all these girls get to be Fly Girl for a day. But
Mhm.
she's flying into Paris for a beauty contest, and the colorist made a mistake, and so she's flying in without
naked.
clothes.
It's
She
like,
has trunks and her wings and her boots, and that's it, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
the caption was perfect. "What a reception I'm getting."
No, yeah. If you fly in naked, you'll get a great reception.
Well, yes,
So
even in France.
yeah, even in France, yeah, well, you wouldn't expect that. It's like the French. What do they know? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm like I have about 4 stacks of comics
Cool.
that
Right.
I I brought just for fun to show. And yeah, you can add more context to them because you seem to, you know more on some of these than I do, so that's really useful.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, so okay, I'm gonna make myself big again, or do I need to make myself? I need to make myself big. I figure I should show them a bit better. So this one, this is a one that I got, and I actually got. This is my second copy of this particular comic. It's Maisy #1. It's actually the first appearance of Maisy. Um, and I actually really like these. These are like these really small comics. Like you can see that it doesn't fit the standard case. And it's just sort of like these good girl art comics. It's similar to like Archie or any of those ones. But originally when I bought it, I got it like I think it was like $50 or $100 for this issue. And it was like,
They're more spending now. I know that. I've seen those for sale.
yeah, but the weird thing was it was like maybe a 4 or 5. It was a reasonable copy. It wasn't like beat up or anything like that. It was reasonable. And I was like, then I saw this one on my comic shop and it was like $70. I was like, what? I couldn't even believe that it was that cheap. So I just bought it. I was just like, it's a 7.5. It presents really, really well. It's, you can see. It's just a really nice copy. I was just shocked that it was so cheap. So yeah, so that's why I picked up a second copy of it. But I don't know. Have you seen that series before, Buzzy?
I have seen Maisie, and it's a
Maisy,
kid
Maisy. I want to say
series.
Maisy. I said Buzzy because the reason I said Buzzy is the next one I was going to show is Buzzy. So sort of mix the two together. Um,
Who
yeah.
does
So
the
what
art in that cover?
on which one?
Buzzy.
On Buzzy? It's I believe it's Win Mortimer.
You know, he sure did, and that's a DC book, right?
Yeah, yeah. He did a lot. I mean, he's mainly
Win
DC.
Mortimer did a huge amount of work for DC. He was absolutely prolific. Shelley Moldoff did a lot for them too.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a pure cover by. It's not a key in any way. I just thought it was I just liked it. I don't know. I always like these kind of hot for teacher kind of covers. You know, like the student being all in love with the teacher kind of thing. I don't know. That was kind of cute. It's always a French teacher too. Did you ever notice that? Like a language
Of
teacher,
course,
Yeah, it's sort of a thing.
it has to be a trope.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. There's that. So you can tell this is my good girl art collection. So we got next one, another great series, Cookie. I always like these beach ones. So this is Cookie #20, and it's from ACG. ACG is one of these series that is very like their comics are very underrated in my opinion. You can pick a lot of them up fairly inexpensively, and I don't know. I think the artwork's kind of fun, a bit cartoony, but kind of cute. So I don't know.
Like it.
So okay, and then this one I'm gonna take it out of the plastic here. So this one you probably know.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so this is Love Diary #1. And actually it's fairly high grade. I mean, I'm I'm not a 9.0 kind of guy, but this is a 5.0. It presents really, really well, except for the spine. It's got like a whole bunch of spine ticks. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that. But okay, wait. Maybe like that. See all the spine ticks?
Oh
But
yes.
other than that, it's like a beautiful copy. Um, and this is like a just a classic Bill Ward cover. I'm a big fan of Bill Ward, and I've been trying to pick up pretty much all of his covers. So yeah, so this is. I don't know. Do you have this one in your collection?
I do not actually have that one.
Yeah, I like these ones. These like you know you can tell that you can tell his style. I find really well. I find he does a lot of lines, like little lines, especially in the girl's hair. That's usually the kind of characteristic that I've noticed with his stuff. And I always find his women in his earlier stuff are fairly demure, and his later stuff after Torchy, once he came out with Torchy, he kind of went more sexy with the women. So these are like you can sort of see that there was that shift in his style, but definitely all the hallmarks of his art style in this one. So I don't know, I really like his work. And then so that's Love Diary #1, and then we got Heartthrobs #1, another
Nice.
Bill Ward cover. And this one I kind of wanted to get in a high grade. I kind of again you can see what I mean by the girl's hair, all the line work.
Oh
So yeah,
yes,
so it's really
yes.
great. And I don't know what this is on the back. US Royal. Get a little extra cartoon on the back. But yeah, I don't know. I really like these romance ones. This is such a standard kind of cover, like the embrace, the kiss kind of thing going on. But yeah, I really like Bill Ward. So that's that one. I actually got it for a great price. I kind of talked the guy down a bit. Uh, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with this series, Farmer's Daughter.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's another series I've been trying to collect. I almost have all the issues for it. Um, it's sort of like the typical, like, I don't know what kind of humor, like the farmer's daughter humor. Like, it's like the typical, like, country bumpkins and some city slicker trying to pick up the girl, you know, I don't know. It's kind of fun. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. Another series that's very similar is Hickory.
Oh yeah. I
It's
think
the
I turned
same.
you on to Hickory, didn't I?
I think so. It was the one with the milkmaid, or it might be
No,
actually
mine,
before I met
no,
the.
mine was the one with the calves. This is the best
Yeah. The
calves.
milk.
And
What I'm saying, milkmaid is like the calves in the background and the girl in the foreground bent over.
best calves and the and
Yeah, best calves.
Hickory is a total hick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So most of them are not good girl art covers. There's only like a couple that are actually good girl art covers, but I have almost the whole run of Hickory, including the one with the calves. Another series very like these three that I just like those two, and then this third one are all kind of that same idea, like the country bumpkins.
Well, I was
And
going to say Babe, yeah.
yeah, Babe is the next one. So this is country bumpkin meets baseball, if that makes sense.
Well, but she was an athlete, and the way she had all of her superpowers was that her
Mhm.
mother made stuff in a still.
Yeah,
She basically she was a moonshiner, and it's Bodie, what's his name, is the guy,
Rogers, Bodie Rogers.
and he was born in the Oklahoma Territory, the Indian Oklahoma Territory was where he was,
Hmm.
1904 or something like
Hmm.
that. And he also did Sparky Watts, and he got a lot of good
Sparky
press
Watts.
in
Hmm.
Big Shot Comics for Sparky Watts, where I always said that Skyman by Ogden Whitney and Gardner Fox was far superior, but he didn't get Skyman didn't get the covers. But Babe has all kinds of stuff going on. She has this one where she has a fight trying to
Yeah,
get
she's
to
boxing.
her estranged brother that they thought stole money from them. They kicked him out, and then it
Hmm.
turns out that he hadn't stolen anything from them. So he sees her from the crowd. She goes looking for him, and then this bruiser guy won't hit him. You know, her ring man's trying to tell her what a bad guy or the guy. She says, "Why would I want to hit him? Oh, he's terrible." And she says, "I hear that you did this." And he says, "Yes, I give all my money to charity. Yes, I buy nothing but presents for the children." And she keeps looking at the guy in the corner. And then I guess there's some trick thing where if you say something wrong to him, he goes crazy. So then he absolutely blasts her and blows up her jaw so that she's
Yeah.
got her jaws broken and her teeth are rattled. And so she talks with her rattly teeth, carrying her estranged brother on her back, like piggyback, back to
Mhm.
the hoot and holler or wherever they were. He skewers the hillbilly stuff, but I think that he was exposed to that to real Quill back in the day.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I read that story as well. That was a good one. Yeah, I've been trying to get the complete collection, the complete run of Babe. Um, Here's another one where she's doing the baseball thing. I don't know why I have only the slabs of her playing baseball. I have the other ones where there's like her with a running away from some people and doing other things other than playing baseball. But most of the ones I have slabbed are baseball ones. That's number 9, and then number 11, all the baseball ones for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, they're not. Those are not. They're not that common. The only one I have is the blue cover, which is the one that lends itself towards all sorts of additional artwork created by readers, young readers.
Excuse me. Okay, wait. I don't know if I can show these ones. Okay, there's a few that I haven't shown yet, so I kind of want to save them. Um, like I mean, I haven't shown in the unboxing. Actually, I know one of these is in the box unboxing that's going to air tomorrow. So, but I can show this one. I believe I've shown this before.
Nice.
So this is Wally Wood. So what happened? This was actually interesting the way I got this one. There was some claim sale like on Instagram, and I saw the cover and I was like, oh, that's really nice. I really like that one, and nobody was interested in it. Okay, and then I was like, hey, who's the artist and stuff? Because I was curious. It has a very classic feel to it. And he was like, oh, it's Wally Wood. And then I put in an offer, and then he accepted my offer. So I was kind of lucky because I kind of put in a low ball offer because nobody was interested in it at first. And then after I put in my offer, a whole bunch of people were like, yeah, how much was that one? They were like all trying to get it. So I was lucky that he honored my offer. So yeah,
What did you have to give?
not much. I think it was like 150. I think something like that, which is
Those
not bad.
are those things just don't exist. I mean,
Yeah, they're
those
really
that
hard to
era of
find.
books, they just don't exist.
Yeah, and it's like so these are like these weird ones by Fox that were just sort of way under the radar. So My Secret Life. I mean,
I got
just
about 8 or 9 of those that I bought in one set of various ones like that. Sometime I'll be able to when I'm back in the sanctorum, I'll be able to pull those out and show them. They're in my good girl box.
mhm. It's like somebody asking questions here. What was the original purpose of producing mini comics? I only the only one I the only I only own one, and it's Chun Li issue that came with uncensored Street Fighter DVD. So the mini comics, actually, the 5 centers were really designed to get comics into younger kids' hands, basically. Make them more available to people. They also did the pocket-sized comics and stuff like that. And they really were just trying to get in on a lower price point than the 10 cents. Oh, 10 cents is too much money. So I think the 5 cent were really to try to get it into more kids' hands, basically. Um, and the smaller ones were there was actually a bunch of different small ones that they did. Fawcett was really known for this, where they would have like a mini comic that would come with a comic. Like what I mean, like they would stick it on the front.
Every one of those mini comics is numbered
Mhm,
11. I think there's one that was numbered 12, but all
mhm,
of them are numbered number 11. Spy Smasher,
Yeah.
uh, Captain Marvel, Wiz. I've got three of
Mhm.
those at home. There was a dealer by the name of Hugh O'Kennon from many years
Mhm.
ago, and Hugh actually was acquainted with a new Burnley,
Mhm.
and spoke with him, and he had a commission Burnley to do a thing for him on Superman or something, and I tried everything I could to get Jack Burnley to do a commission for me, but I never could penetrate the veil or
Sinking. Yeah.
the guardianship that Hugh O'Kennon had for that. But but Hugh had a lot of bought a lot of timelies from him, and one time he sent me those three when I put together an order. He sent those three just as a thank you.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's how I got those.
Are mini comics worth collecting? I even seen a few Vampirella ones that caught my eye. I'm just trying to think of the Vampirella ones. I think you might be referring to the ash cans.
Ash cans.
That's a little different. There are a few mini comics that are worth huge amounts of money. For example, I believe that they did an ash can for Sensation Comics #1. I believe there was an ash can for that. I believe there was also an ash can for Superman one.
Well, there's Action and Flash.
And yeah.
Those and a guy by the name of Gary Calabuano owned all of
Mhm.
those, and for
All
years
those ash cans? Or
the ash cans for those where they locked down the title of the
Mhm.
comic with the copyright office, and that's what they had to provide a comic. Inside would be some other comic, but they had to have the cover with the title, and then they would submit it to the government, to the copyright office, and they would copyright the name. So
Yeah.
Flash may have an action story in it, but it's a Flash. They had to lock down the name Flash Comics before
Mhm.
somebody else did. And so he had like I think about a half a dozen of these things where they were locking down all these DC titles. I have no idea how he got a hold of them, but he
They're
had them up
incredibly rare.
1,000,000
Incredibly
and
rare.
850,000. He had those up on eBay for years. I don't know who eventually or how and in what manner they were finally sold. Historically, they're very important. As a
Mhm.
comic book, I mean, it's the only one. It's
Well,
those
I
are.
think they would print a few of them. They wouldn't. You couldn't just print one. I think you had to print a certain number in order to get that copyright.
I'm not certain about that, but as I understand it, you just had to have one for first appearance. That is to
Mhm.
say, first appearance in print, and that sort of grandfathered you into to grandfather that name to you. Action, Flash. There's a couple other ones too.
So the one I'm thinking about is like with Warren Publishing when they locked down the rights to Eerie, that because Eerie had been a magazine before, right? Where it was
Right.
or a comic, I should say. It was a comic before. They let the rights go, and then Warren wanted the rights, and so what they did is they had to print. I think they had to print at least 1 or 200 copies, and that was it. Just enough to show that it's a serious thing that they're going to print, have a proper distribution of the title.
That
And
sounds
then
like
they
cars for racing, that they have to produce so many cars in order to qualify to have a car be able to race. That there has to be 25 or 50 cars produced,
something.
and then the collectors all go after those because they're the ones that for the race car so that they could actually compete.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the same idea. So those books are incredibly rare. Those ash cans are insanely rare. However, ash cans like Vampirella ash cans, not so rare. So what happened was in the 90s, there was sort of this promotional idea of using ash cans as a promotional gimmick. Wizard magazine would come out with little ash cans of Vampirella or whatever title that they wanted to kind of. I think there's a Bone one as well. There's a bunch that were kind of released in the 90s.
I have a Batman Grendel ash can.
Exactly, exactly. So they would produce like thousands and thousands of them. They're not
Well,
rare at
it's the
all.
thing that people didn't really keep them. But in
That's
answer to
true.
the question, are they collectible? To a certain degree, yes, but you want to make sure you're not overpaying because
That's true.
uh, as far as what you like, I think you're better off with just a regular comic than an ash can, unless it's something that you enjoy and it's very frugally priced. At that point, what it doesn't really matter that much. But if they're asking any kind of coin for it, I think you're actually better off, but just going with a regular book.
Yeah, I mean, they can be cool though. There are some cool ash cans out there. And just like we were talking about the early DC ones, those are
I would say buy what
insanely.
you love, but I can't say that anymore.
No, you can't say that anymore. That's banned on this channel. Actually I say buy what you love all the time. I was just thinking when I had that video about it, all I meant was that, we should do a bit better. Just say buy what you love, but what do you love? And here's some things you might love. Just be a little bit more articulate, I guess. So yeah, I wasn't trying to ban. I don't I hate, the idea of like you can't say that. No, like you can say whatever you want. So yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I give you the privilege of being able to say that. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
My dictatorship. Okay. Um
Well, can't
but
you show us one of the ones that's going to be in the unboxing? Because we're all here with you. Can you
no,
just show us one of
no,
those?
no, I did. I already
Oh,
showed
just
something that was
one.
probably in there. I don't know. There was probably something in there that was
Just
already.
one.
Uh so like in the one that's in tomorrow, it's right next to me. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if I show it, then there's no excitement. You'll be like, oh, I've seen that before. It's not interesting. And then people will be all like disappointed. But I might have already shown this before. I feel like the problem with me is like, do you ever like when I get dressed in the morning, I'm like the laziest person about getting dressed. I like literally whatever on top of the stack of clothing, that's what I wear. Like that's the kind of person I am. I don't really, oh, gotta dig. Oh, I want to wear this today. No, I don't even think about it. I just whatever's on top is what I show, right? Or wear that day. Well, with comics, it's kind of the same thing because what will end up happening is I get like the big shipment of comics, right? And those comics are on the top. They're the ones the easiest to grab if I ever want to show something. But then I'm always like, oh wait, they probably haven't seen this on the unboxing yet. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I'm showing stuff that's on the top, which is stuff that you guys haven't seen yet. So I don't want to spoil the surprises.
Okay.
But with all that said, I'm going to show one.
Okay,
So
good.
I had to build it up. I had to build it up and like make it some silly, interesting story. Well, that wasn't that interesting, but yeah, I'll show. This is one that's going to be, I think, in tomorrow's video. So if you watch tomorrow's video, you'll see this. If you don't want to see spoil tomorrow's video, well, don't just close your eyes. I don't know what you do, but this is one that I'm going to show. I think it's either tomorrow or Thursday's video. Um,
Valkyrie. Very nice.
so I'm a big fan of Valkyrie. I got her first appearance, and what I've been doing is getting all these cover appearances of her. So that's the kind of person I am. Like I'm a completionist, but no, in this case, a very like focused completionist. Like I'm going for Valkyrie covers, and generally a lot of other people do the same thing. So the Valkyrie covers within the Airboy run are the more expensive books in the run. And this one, I think they wanted like $1,000 for it
Good
originally.
Lord.
I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to spend. I love the cover. I love the way the gun, like it looks almost like it's like just white. It's like it's almost like
They call that
rips
the
on the.
muzzle flash.
Yeah, I think it's really well done. And I just like the way she's kind of like leaning back and she's kind of like in this sort of
Yeah, she's
sexy
shooting too. She's shooting too.
yeah, but she's in that sort of sexy mode, right? Um and she's got, they're both firing their guns and yeah, I just think it's a cool cover. So I was like, I don't want to pay that much. And then what happened was they lowered the price, I think to 600 or something like that. I was like, oh, it's still too much. That's not what I want to pay for it. And then my comic shop had a sale, like where they like took 20% off. So it's like, and then they lowered the price again. So I think I got this for like $300 or something like that.
Oh, home run on that. That's a great book for
And
that.
it's like nice high grade too. So I
So,
was quite
Alan,
happy.
I notice it says here formerly Air Fighters Comics. Is that the very first Airboy comic title?
No, actually in the unboxing that I'll be getting from on Thursday, I'm going to be getting some boxes, some more boxes from my Zachary thing. I will be getting the very first Airboy title change comic. It's not
What
this one.
number
This
is
is
it?
one. I forgot what it is, what number it is. It's one or two issues before this. It's a few
Okay.
issues before this. I think they just ran this banner for a little while until the
Okay.
transition was complete, right? But but yeah. So Airboy Comics, formerly known as Airfighter Comics. So
Cool.
yeah, that's one of the ones. And then I'm going to show you some stuff that I've shown before, but I love these ones anyways. Got some A Date with Millie. So Millie the model, this is, same Millie, was a title that was fairly popular. And they just sort of brought it, like, I think it was popular enough where, Marvel basically was, had all these good girl art comics, which was very strange. They actually they had more good girl art comics and humor comics than they did superhero. They didn't have any superhero at that point.
Damn
It was,
few.
yeah, very, like, I don't even think anything. Like,
They had the
Captain
last.
Marvel was, Captain America was gone. Um,
Well, I don't know
all
exactly. That's a big stamp code book. So I'd say that's 1954 or five. What is it?
1956.
Six. So look
So
how big that stamp is for 56. That's amazing. Of course,
I know.
Showcase 4 is from 56 and it has a big stamp too. So
Yeah,
that
so
makes sense.
around 55 and 56 was when they went with the big stamps. Like, oh, we gotta we gotta show that we have the Comic Code Authority. This is approved book. Don't worry, kids. You're not
Yeah,
gonna go to hell if you buy it.
for sure. Absolutely for
so
sure.
but this one is a really great book. Has a lot going for it. It's a great good girl art cover, but it's got like Stan Lee's story and Dan DeCarlo art. I mean, it's just, you know,
So that's
it-
Millie and that the redhead's Chili, isn't she?
something like that. Um, yeah, I forgot. I don't know the other girl's
Like
name,
red
but
chili pepper. She's hot like a chili pepper, and they call her Chili, I think.
I think you might be right. Yeah, because they also had a series called Chili that came out
Yes.
as
Yeah.
well.
She was the foil for Millie. They were both
Yeah,
vying for the modeling jobs. As
yeah.
an excuse for them to get into their swimsuits and talk to the guys that are setting up the thing, you know.
Yeah, it's the typical good girl stuff, right? And then here's another one in the same kind of idea.
Al Hartley did a lot of those too, I think, as far as those covers. That's another DiCarlo there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another DeCarlo, another Stan Lee as well. Stan Lee doing the writing and DeCarlo doing the art. Um, I'm not sure if this is Millie here. Looks kind of
I'm
like
sure
Millie does.
I would assume it is,
I would
yes.
assume it is. Yeah. Um, yeah, I just think, I really like these good girl art ones. The Showgirls run, I think it only lasted like 6 issues or something like that. It's like a really short run,
Hmm.
but it is insanely expensive. It's like, I don't know why, but they're really expensive books. I don't, like, usually Silver Age books like this, are fairly affordable, but these Showgirl ones, I have no idea. So if you ever see a Showgirl comic, and it's under like a couple $100, grab it because that's a good deal. They're insanely expensive.
Is
I
that
don't know
from
what.
50? Is that from 57?
Yeah, 1957. So you can see like how
The stamp
they really,
size.
yeah, it was only like 55 and 56 that they really went with the big stamps. You can see how much bigger
And of
that
course,
is.
they get smaller from that too. They get smaller from the
Yeah,
ones at 57 as well.
like even this is pretty big. I actually have one that's a little bit later, like later Silver Age, and you can see how much smaller this is. Like
Yes,
it's the
that was
next,
pretty much the size until when they finally the code just sort of went away. Then they were about the size of a little bit smaller than the
barely, they
size
were
of a
like
dime. Yeah, about the
maybe
size.
half the size of that even.
Yeah.
It was like almost an afterthought. Um, But this is one of these titles that good romance one, just really great. I really like this one. I don't know. I just like the way that the woman in the
Oh,
bikini
nice,
was
good
drawn.
girl cover, totally.
Yeah. I got this cheap, but it's a pretty rare book. Not many on the census, like less than 20 on the census, something
Now,
like
are
that.
they under? They are underwater there, are they not?
Yeah, it's like
And the gal's taking pictures underwater.
yeah, isn't that cool? Lover's
So, Ellen,
Lagoon.
I do have a question for you.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, the code, the code authority, comics code
Hmm.
authority. Here they are. Uh, is the comics code authority still working? Where were the books sent? What was the turnaround? And what did it cost? Because it had to cost something for them to get that to maintain the funding to run the damn thing. They had to have a staff to go through and make sure it was okay. They had to give them enough time to change something if it was wrong. So I'm just curious, when did the Comics Code Authority go belly up, or is it
Hmm.
still at work? I have a
It's not
question.
at work anymore. Actually, I answered this question in a previous video on my channel, on one of the Q&A ones. It went belly up like about, I think, early 2000s.
That long? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
They had to know where were they located and where would they send the books?
So I'm not sure, but it was one of these organizations that was kind of really, it was like all the different publishers basically funded this one organization that would sort of be almost like editor in chief to all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you send off the thing, they would send in their little corrections, and then they'd send it back to the publisher, and then they could run it, if it got that approval, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure where it was located, or or how it worked in terms of that mechanism. But I know what ended up happening was fewer and fewer companies, even followed it,
Bothered with it.
and then it just sort of fizzled out. Um, yeah, I don't know. Don't know that end of it. What exactly happened. All these people that used to work for the Comic Code are now like on the streets and looking for
No, they
work.
went to work for the
I
state.
will ban comics for food and stuff like this.
They
um,
went to work for the DMV.
yeah, exactly. Probably some uplifting place like that.
Oh,
Um,
nice books, Alan. That's that good girl stuff. That right at the end of the just before the code, the pre-code stuff with that romance stuff. I was curious. Also, when did Human Torch stop? When did Submariner stop? And when did Captain America stop? What year did they stop?
um, I think it was like it was. I think it was even before the Comic Code Authority came into play. I think it
Um,
was like early 50s, wasn't it?
well, I know it was, but I mean, I don't know exactly what year it was when those titles died, and then left the field
Certain,
alone
certain.
to, for example, Stan Lee and all of these Ken Bald
I
and
know, and they
DeCarlo
all
and
went
all
over
those other
to,
all the good girl stuff that they
yeah.
filled in with,
So, I mean,
and
we
the
had this
monster stuff and
discussion.
the monster anthology books too.
Yeah.
Journey into
So,
Mystery, Journey, Tales to Suspense,
thanks.
Tales
Yeah.
to Astonish, all of those anthologies that Marvel had, where you had monsters and ironic stories, and then the
Mhm.
superheroes, the supers came in 61,
Well, sort of
62.
like it was like with Marvel, DC and Marvel were very different. DC kept its superheroes going all the way through. But Marvel, I think what ended up happening was after the war, kind of, they really, made their characters part of the war effort, right? You got
More
Captain
so
America.
timely, more so
Yeah.
timely than DC.
Yes, that's what I mean. Timely was really
That's
about
why
all
it
about
hit.
that.
That's why it hit timely so much harder than DC, because DC had a
Yeah.
better community of characters to support the superheroes. Like Batman and Robin had their rogues gallery. Superman as Clark Kent and all those other things. Wonder
Mhm.
Woman. those three, and but the other ones, they basically were relegated as backups to adventure and action comics.
Yeah, so I think what happened was Timely went defunct actually, and then they went into Atlas, right? And Atlas was where they kind of launched their kind of their horror related titles, horror
Westerns and Good Girl too.
and Western and Good Girls. Yeah, so those kind of titles came out then, and you got Stan Lee kind of getting shot over onto like doing Good Girl stuff and romance
Well,
books.
also when the anthology started, then they basically went with they couldn't have pre-code horror, but they knew that horror books would sell, so
Hmm.
they went with the pre-code horror that was code accessible or code okay.
Yeah,
So that's where you'd always have Ditko would do one, Kirby would do one, Ayers would do one, or
yeah.
Stan Lee's brother Larry Lieber. I never cared for his art.
You always tell me
John
about how
Heck,
you don't.
John Heck, and all of
I
the
like John
guys in
Hamm.
the bullpen, all the guys in the bullpen
Hmm.
basically took their turn at making, they throw a pan into the corner, and whatever sound it made became the name of the monster that they were going to
Yeah, it was
have.
always like Fing Fang Foom or
With
like
two R's, always
Boom,
with two R's. You got to have
yeah,
but
Tor or something. Yeah.
they, and those things basically did the best they could. You got three stories in them.
Hmm.
You got a Ditko story, you got a Kirby story, and then you got somebody else, Larry Lieber, a lot of the times.
Hmm.
Terrible. And then, of course, then you started in with Thor and Iron Man, and then Ant Man, and
Yeah.
those guys all came in and from one segment in the anthology to then it was half and half with two stories, and then the whole thing blew up, and then it became the titles changed, and it was, I mean, the title
Yeah,
then
it
became their
became like
title.
just a superhero character.
Yeah,
I think what happened was
Strange Tales
when
too.
I think when Flash came out with Showcase, that really like sort of made people think, hey, maybe superheroes have some legs again. And
Well, it took
it,
until 1961 with the Fantastic
I
Four.
I
So
know.
from 56 all the way up to 61, they ceded the field to superheroes, to DC, to fight
Yeah,
through with the Justice League and Hawkman and
I
all
know.
those other ones, and Brave and Bold and Showcase that they were bringing back. And they were the ones that basically made, and that's because of Julius Schwartz.
Hi, Callie. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, the story that I heard was that they were golf buddies or something like that, and then they just sort of kept on talking about how I think DC was doing well with what was the
Justice
title?
League and Challengers.
The Challengers. That was the one. Challengers was the one that kind of inspired Fantastic Four.
And
Um,
the Justice League, which was, they had all winners and all select, but they didn't have quite as their crew didn't have Vision and and the Destroyer and all those. They were participants, but they didn't
mhm,
have the big group like Justice Society had, or like that turned into the Justice League of America. But they did
mhm,
follow on that, and they did cobble together. But they had Stan Lee's bombast, and they had Jack Kirby's artwork, along with
mhm.
some other guys too. But basically, Lee and Kirby, and the combination of the writing and the art with those two was definitely lightning in a bottle, and off it
Yeah.
went.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once they released Fantastic Four, they realized they were onto something, and they were going to be, they could bring back the company. It could become Marvel Comics that we know today. But yeah, you know, Marvel was like not a company that you would have expected to have survived. It really was kind of on
Well,
its last
I
legs.
think Martin Goodman was the one who was the main money man and the main guy, architect.
Hmm.
And of course, they eventually, when he sold Marvel, and then he did Atlas Comics because he wanted to get even, and that
Hmm.
died a morning. It just didn't go anywhere. But and they that's a lot partially the reason, because they got all squeezed out by both DC and Marvel. They put out
Hmm.
so much product that Atlas couldn't survive. They couldn't get any circulation, and they just, both of them basically had an unwritten agreement where they would just produce comics till hell won't have them, to
Well, they did
basically
the same.
squeeze
They did the
Atlas
same
out.
with
And they did.
Yeah, they did the same with Skywald. You know, that's how they destroyed Skywald. They would just they like Marvel got into producing magazines, and so did DC. You know, they just produced as many like, many magazines as possible, and just take up all this shelf space. So Skywald's, you know, went out of business. Yeah.
And they asked the distributors and they asked the dealers to, because those were the more popular titles, that
Mhm.
they basically another Marvel title, then the distributors and the dealers went along with that, because
Mhm.
I don't know what kind of sales Atlas ever even really had, because everything they had was pretty darn derivative
Yeah,
of
yeah. I
what
mean,
it
I
was.
have a few of the Atlas comics, and they're okay. Yeah, nothing
I
major.
remember when they came out. It was in the '70s they came out, but
Mhm.
they got wiped out, and the comic
Yeah.
stores were coming on about that time too. So it was a very interesting time in comic collecting in the '70s.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. Should I show some more, or should I
Please,
wrap it up?
up to you.
Okay, I'll let the chat decide. Do you guys want to see another small stack of comics, or do you guys want to wrap it up? Like you guys decide. Um, but yeah, I actually, so my plan is to actually organize these and get my shelves done, and then I'm going to actually record a video where I'm going to show my comic room and do a proper one where I, you know, show things and explain what is in these piles of books.
I'm
Because
glad you. I'm glad you got an order out of chaos, because finding
mhm,
books and looking and not finding them is a bird.
I still haven't found a
Not you,
few.
Kenneth, but
There's
it was a bird with an I, not a Y.
okay, so K Munin is deciding for the group. So I'm going to show another small stack of comics. So okay, so this is like the last stack of books I'm going to show, and we're going to start with this one, My Friend Irma. And this is actually interesting because it's My Friend Irma number 3, but really it's actually number 1, and it's actually the first appearance of Irma. So
In a
uh,
comic, because she was a
in the
radio
comic.
star.
Yes,
Since
she
the
was a
Dixie
radio
Blonde.
star. It's sort of like Cloris Archer and all those ones. They were radio people first, and then they made a comic about them. So, you know, they were radio characters, I should say. Yeah. Um, and then this one I've shown so many times, but it's in the same pile. My very high grade. It's like, um, it's, you know, what's funny. This is a complete book, right? But it's just that the spine is completely split. That's why it's a.
Do you know who Irma was, by the way, the actual
Oh,
actress?
this is cute. Thanks, Callie. Comic books killed the radio characters.
They kill everything.
No, do you know that what that reference is? Like video killed the radio star. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that song. Okay,
Radio killed the movies.
yeah, yeah, it actually did.
Her
Um,
name was Marie Windsor.
oh, the girl that played Irma.
Yeah. The gal that played Irma, and she was a ditzy blonde. She was in a lot of stuff too. I mean, the actress was.
That was kind of a trope, you know, the ditzy blonde. That was, you know, that was a big popular trope for a while. Even if
Marie
you
Wilson.
watch,
I'm sorry, it's Marie Wilson,
oh, okay, Marie
not
Wilson.
Windsor.
Yeah,
Windsor's another
Wilson.
one. Marie Wilson is, yeah.
You know, what's interesting, like if you
Windsor.
even watch like early Marilyn Monroe ones, like some of like, you know, it's she always plays the ditzy blonde a bit. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So yeah. And this one I think I showed this was the one I got you onto, the sugar bowl series.
Hmm.
I don't know. I always like I just love the trope of the pillow. I don't know. I just think it's so funny. Um yeah.
One of the guys in the chat, when you showed that, said that whenever he sees that, he always thinks of the legislator, the congresswoman from Hawaii.
Oh, oh yes. What's her name? She's no longer part of the Democrat Party.
No,
What's her name? Okay, I know her name actually. Yeah, I think she's interesting. And then here's some nice LB Cole. I've been trying to get the like all these LB Cole, like I'm So you know how I collected all of the Warren ones?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard, yes, yes, Tulsi Gabbard. Um, and you know I collect all the Warren publishing thing. Well, the next thing I'm thinking of doing is getting all the Star comics, just because that's the kind of
A
person
good
I am.
run.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff in that title, that publishing. And then we got Winnie
Winnie Winkle.
Winnie Winkle.
That's
And
easy
this
for
one,
you to say.
yeah, Winnie Winkle. And you know, this one actually reminds me of the one with the chimpanzees dancing.
Yes. Slick
You know,
Chick.
yeah, Slick Chick. Just the way that they're kind of just the way that they're dancing. You know, it's the
Yeah.
same style of dance.
Well, the
Um,
girls, it's two girls together behind them.
yeah. So that's my point. It's actually not two girls. This is a boy.
Is it a guy or is that a girl?
That's a guy.
Okay.
He's just got goofy hair. He's you know he's a bit goofy. He looks like a girl, but it's a guy. It's a guy. Um, yeah, and then the last one
Very
is
good.
another one of these radio ones. This is a date with Judy, and it's like radio's famous coast to coast favorite, A Date with Judy, and this is the second issue. And I got this for like I forgot almost the cost of the slab. I think this was on Heritage Auctions, and I got it for like $3. You know, the bid was
Judy,
$3, and then you pay the
yeah,
extra.
Judy was Jane Powell, who
Oh,
was a
okay.
singer, Jane Powell. And Elizabeth Taylor made appearances on that show too.
Yeah, actually, I'll show it. It's
A Date
actually
with
really,
Judy.
really nice copy. But to get this for $3 plus buyer's premium, which adds another 30, I thought was, really. I thought this was a steal. I don't know. I
Very
thought it was
much.
good. Yeah. I'm not sure why nobody bid on it. I was like, oh, okay. If nobody's gonna bid on it, I guess I get it for. I just put like a like almost like a placeholder bid on it. Just like I put $3 on it, and then I
Was
won
that
it. So
Heritage? Was that at Heritage?
yeah, it was on Heritage.
I would be so bummed if I put that book in and only got 25 bucks for it.
Yeah, exactly. What were they thinking? It's just such a great book, and it's like really great, good girl art cover. Cheerleader thing going on. One sec here. I'll bring you back. So
Nice
that was
stuff.
the last stack, and yeah, so there's actually more. I actually have another 2 stacks, but I'm not going to overwhelm people. It's just too much stuff.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so it's good hanging out with you.
Thank you.
Uh,
It's fun.
so this is what I do on a Monday when my wife is doing her ballet. So she's at ballet right now, so I can sort of hang out just a little bit. And I
Does
had a
she?
long day today.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Mhm. So today it was all about getting new business. That's been my whole thing today. Like I did everything you can imagine to get new business, by the way. Because I'm trying to rebuild my business. So I went to a networking event. I called like every like government, or not government, but sort of like a business association. So that I used to do a lot of public speaking. So I'm like called all the different associations in Ottawa. And then I called all my clients, and I was like, trying to drum up business. So that was my fun thing. So this is a good balance to having to do all that crazy work. It was just like, it was a bit much.
Good for you,
So
man. That's good.
yeah. So yeah. So show more. I'm loving this. Okay, well, and excellent live stream. Okay. So yeah. So those
Thank you.
are, yeah. Only wait one sec here. Do I show the last stack? Is it Good Girl? I'm not even sure if it's Good Girl. So this is like, okay, do you want to see one last stack?
Go ahead. Run them
Okay,
up.
you have nothing better to do?
No,
Okay,
this
one last stack. Really, this is the last stack for all the people that hung out for this long. Okay, one last stack. This is a really funny one. This is Blue Bolt. This is the transgender one. He's like, kind of wearing like
That
a
is the screwiest.
girl's just.
What were they thinking?
And it's like this weird monster guy behind him. It's like so weird. Such a weird
What in
cover.
the hell is going on with that?
I have no idea. I don't get it. It's like he's dressed in a dress
Who did
and he's
that
going.
cover?
Um, it's Tom Gill.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, it's such a weird cover.
Maybe that covers the reason why.
Maybe it's such a weird one, isn't it? Little
God,
boy
that's
in a dress and got this weird monster popping out. That's so that I thought that's actually one that goes for a bit of money. Like the Blue Bolt run, fairly inexpensive for the most part. But that one, it's sort of like the Rifleman one, where it's a little bit weird,
and
so people kind of go for it.
yeah.
That's got the same thing going for it. And here's another cool one. This is Power Comics. Actually, I just completed the run of this. So this is Power Comics number 4, and this is a LB Cole. And LB Cole, for some reason, would recycle this bird. I've seen so many times where he uses this almost the same bird, like the same pose and everything, like this bird. He did that a lot, actually. If you start looking at LB Cole covers, you'll notice that he reuses certain characters over and over again. Another one that's really famous that he recycles is the skeleton with the hair that
Yes.
comes down. Yeah,
Yeah.
he recycles that character on a few of his covers. But yeah, I'm a big fan of LB Cole, but I notice you start noticing these patterns once you see enough books, right? So that I like that one. And then this is a nice
Canadian woman.
Canadian white. It's quite it's in high grade. Actually, these Canadian whites to get a 5 is actually a big deal. It's conserved, but these things are like toilet paper. They fall apart. It's just like
Who's jumping into the car
that's
with?
that's freelance. Lance is
Okay.
the guy jumping in. So yeah, and he's taking out the Nazis. These are all like Nazis on the you can see. I'm not sure if
Yes.
there's any Hitlers there, but
Well, look at the
it's definitely
driver
Nazis.
carefully. What is who's is
The
the driver's
driver
not
looks
Hitler, is it?
what?
The driver isn't Hitler, is it?
No, I don't think so. It just looks I
Okay.
don't know. He could be. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Um it looks like this guy's more like Hitler because he's got like the little mustache. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure if there's any Hitlers on it, but definitely Nazis getting taken out.
Have
Right.
you read Freelance at all?
Never,
His
never.
what is you know what his powers are?
No idea.
What
No
kind of a
idea.
Canadian are you?
What kind of Canadian am I? I don't know. I don't really know much. I think I should know actually. I think I heard something about freelance. Um, but I don't remember what his powers were.
Was
Uh,
Nelvana was the biggest hero that you guys had, correct? Heroine?
yeah, I would say so. That and Ca-
Captain Canuck?
Captain Canuck, yeah, would be the biggest ones.
Where does
And
the term
then
Canuck come from?
I'm not really sure. It's like Canuck, like can of the Canuck is like Canada, and then I guess it's sort of like a colloquial thing, or like to make it kind of sound cutesy, Canuck. I don't know,
I
or
don't
it could be
it's not a pejorative, is it? I mean, it's
no,
not a
no, it's
slur, is
not.
it?
It's not like no, it's not like I'll beat you up just because you called me a Canuck. It's like
Okay.
it's
I'll
just
just beat you up anyway. Okay.
yeah, I'll just beat you up anyways. And then we got some Zoot.
Baker or Cayman?
I believe this is Baker. It looks like Baker, but it doesn't
It
say.
looks like Baker to me.
Yeah, it looks like Baker, but it doesn't say, so we don't know.
Could be both too.
It could be both. Certain elements look like Cayman, certain elements look like Baker. So the hair, Baker. Legs, Cayman, in my opinion. I don't know.
Top Felstein.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, no, the top looks more like Cayman. Feldstein, the way he draws boobs is a little different. So this is definitely I feel like the body is very Cayman-like, and then the hair is
And then
very
Baker did the face and the hair. That's
yeah,
what it looks like.
that's what it looks like to me.
It's a fusion.
Yeah, fusion. And I know that they did that a lot back in the day. And then we got series that I know I got you onto as well. This Dark
Hmm.
Mysteries. I really like these dark mysteries. I always like these ones where, it's the guy and the girl and they're like, and then it's like the dead boyfriend coming back from the grave to like get some revenge.
Well,
I
what a
always love
great
that.
date! What a great date to take the girlfriend to visit the grave of the ex-boyfriend. I mean, that guy
That's
showed a girl a good time, right?
well, that's what I usually do. My first date, take the girl to the graveyard. If she stays with you after that, she'll stay with you for anything, right? So did you ever see the original Walking the Night of the Living Dead?
Yes,
They always had that scene where they walk through the graveyard. It's like what you do, right? So
absolutely.
yeah. So and
It's
then
either
the
that or
last.
you're driving along the road and the girl says, "Wait a minute, wait a minute. Did you hear something?" And then he has the spotlight on the car, one of those handheld spotlights,
Mhm.
and it's going slowly through the woods. And then, of course, the monster comes out, and that's it. The answer is don't stop and don't shine a light in the forest.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why they always have to stop in the.
Or the
It's like
slow turn. If you're in a room, you hear something. What's in there? You don't go in the room. Of course, they go in the room, and then as they turn their head, they're looking and looking and looking, and if they're
they're gonna
looking
get.
from left to right, over their right shoulder is where the monster is waiting for you to see it
Yeah.
before it destroys you with long slavering fangs.
Yes. So this is like the very famous line from the Night of the Living Dead. They're, they're going to get you, Susan. Like he's pretending that there's zombies and stuff, and then all of a sudden
They get
there
them.
are zombies.
They get
There
them.
are zombies. Um, and then the last one is Cave Girl. This is Bob Powell art. So um, just I don't know. Another series that I like, and I think it's totally underrated. Like I like these Jungle Girls. So
There's a
um,
lot of them.
there are a lot of Jungle Girls. Actually, I did a video on that where I showed all the different Jungle Girls.
Yeah, Princess Panther and
And
and all of those. Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Rula and all. Yeah, it's Sheena. Actually, I'm somewhat sad. I've sort of given up on my dream. So my comic shop is having their auctions, right?
Yes,
And I have like a whole bunch of books in my you know the ones I'm potentially going to
watching.
bid on. Yeah, that
Hmm.
I'm watching. I'm going to bid on. Like I'm going to bid on some of these. But like all the major ones that I really really want have gone through the roof. Like they're and it's still like 8 days left. So I'm like, I guess I'm not going to get that book. I guess I'm not going to get that book. And one of the books that I'm not going to get because it's gone too much is they had a Jumbo Comics #1,
Mm.
which
What's
is a
it
very,
sitting at now?
I think it's around 3 or 4 thousand already.
Mm.
So I'm like I
Well,
I do have I have a few friends that still have both of their kidneys though. So I'm debating. I
all
can
you
maybe
need is one.
all you need is one. so you never know. You never know. Um So yeah, so I've been sort of disappointed. Like all these cool books, like are just gradually disappearing. And, like my
Well, and
list is getting shorter and shorter.
you had mentioned in your silver broadcast, which people should look at if they haven't. But if
Hmm.
you're looking at your Monday, where you were saying that after Christmas that the sales go down because
Yeah,
everybody spent all their money at Christmas, the answer is that is not entirely true,
I
because
guess
people are
not.
stepping up and there is money and they are showing it, and they've tipped their hand already by having high bids rather than waiting to the end to snipe. They want to get in and
I
slug
know.
it out. They don't want to do it the sniper way.
Well, what's I think really interesting is if you look at this My Comic Shop auction, the books that are there are insane. It's like ones that you normally never see. And this is
Yeah, they
something we were
really put
talking about
together a
all of
nice.
last year. Like
Mhm.
all these crazy books are coming out. Like how often like I've seen Jumbo 1 once. And I had an opportunity to buy it but it was like so beat up. It was like
That's you can't don't buy that stuff.
yeah, it
It
was
was
just
just a
so beat
rag.
up that I was
I have it. You want to be able to see it, you know?
yeah, it was like, do I really want that? No, I didn't really want it. And it was a very expensive, even though it was really beat up. This one's a 4.0. How
Oh,
often how often do you see a 4.0 Jumbo 1?
never see it.
Never.
Never see it.
And then
I've
they have
never
a whole
seen
bunch
one.
of other books that are the same way. It's just like, wow, that's a major book. That's a major book. It's like the comics #1. You know, it's like it's like a really rare book you never see. You know, it's like, yeah.
Well, they're a great organization. I have
Hmm.
nothing but praise to say for my
Oh
comic
yeah,
shop.
they're great.
They've taken such good care of me, and my desire to want to chase any of the big books that are on there, I already settled that a little while ago when I bought my
Mm.
I bought that big fat one. But I do think though that the fact that they held out all of these things to to lay out in one big, start the year off with a bang. They're already advertising for the next auction after this one too.
I know. And
Yeah, and so it's like I honestly, I much prefer buy it now, or buy it now better, but buy it now make offer,
mhm.
because having to wait 8 days to figure out to have the big shove at the end as far as to who's going to actually end up. And sometimes with that you get excited and then you put too much and then, oh my god, I won the auction and now it's
Right, I
mine.
overpaid and
And then right after that happens, then they'll have another listing for one a half a grade smaller, lower, for like,
half the
way less,
price.
or one a half a
Mhm.
grade higher for a lot less. And you kind of go, great. I'm sure glad I did that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of auctions either. However, you can win on auctions and you can lose. Like you can, you know,
Well, you're on the tail end of Heritage where they have all these sort of people have left already. They've already left the room. They've already spent their money, and you're picking up a date with Judy for 25 bucks.
yeah, it's crazy. So there's actually one in this next unboxing. Like so that's coming up. It's like I'll do a live stream on
Jeez.
Thursday. I think it's
Okay.
gonna be Thursday, where I'll show it's gonna be 4 boxes. I don't know why so many boxes. I didn't think I ordered that much, but I guess I did. What the funny thing is, one of the books is one that I've only seen sold twice in 40 years. Okay. And usually it goes for some crazy price. I put a very low minimum bid on it and I won it. I was like, wow. And it's a very famous pre-code horror cover. So I was like shocked when I won it.
What's the grade? You're not going to tell us the title. What's the grade anyway?
Oh, it's a low grade. It is low grade. It's like a 2.5, you know. But nice presenting. Like it has like one piece out of the corner that doesn't affect the art. It's like, you know,
Hmm.
but it's a very nice presenting 2.5.
Cool.
Um, yeah, so I was like, hmm, I didn't expect to win
I
it.
won't ask. I'll wait to see.
And actually, believe it or not, actually, I shouldn't say this, but I actually won some really cool. I won 2 cool books on the last Heritage auctions that just happened yesterday.
Oh,
One is Lone Ranger from
High Ho Silver,
1939.
the blue cover, the first one.
The very first. It's not Lone Ranger #1. It's the book that came out before that.
High Ho Silver or something, I think it
It's
is.
called
It's
Lone.
the
It's
blue.
called Lone Ranger #1 actually, but
Okay, is it a dark blue cover with him on silver?
he's on the horse and it's with a big ice cream cone.
Okay,
That's his very first comic book appearance.
okay.
It's one that most people don't know about. It came out in 1939. Uh, Lone Ranger #1 came out in 1948. So this is like long
Mm,
before.
way before.
And basically it was like a promotional comic, right, for this ice cream company. But they produced a full story of the Lone Ranger. And it's one of those books that actually goes for really big money. You know, I think there's a listing on eBay right now for 2 or 3 thousand,
Mm,
and I lucked out. Nobody bid. Like well, people bid, but they didn't bid much. I got it. I think I paid like I think it was 600. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's actually a great price. The
I mean,
a point five had sold early, like last year, for $800.
wow,
So this is like a higher grade, like a 2.5. You know, it's a higher grade, and
cool.
yeah. So I was quite excited about that. And then
What's the other one?
the
What
other
was the
one
other
that I,
one?
the other one I picked up was Sensation Comics #69. And if you're not familiar with that book, it's a cool book because it's got a really great magic cover, like where like she's like there's a magician pulling rabbits and various things out of a hat,
I
and then you got Wonder Woman coming in as well and trying to fight
I
with guys.
think I think that's one of the only sensations I own.
It's a really great one. It's actually the second appearance of the Huntress as well, so it's got a like kind of that double like well, it has a key associated with it as well.
I'll have to
Look
look
for
at
it.
that.
Yeah, it's a really cool book. So I've been wanting that. I like magic covers, and I like Wonder Woman, so it's kind of both of
Makes
those for me.
sense.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get that one for a while, and a really high grade, like a nice, I think it's like a 5.5. And I
That's
bought it for the
beautiful.
price of a 2.0. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with this. I'm pretty happy to get that. So
I think the sensation that I got was, I got that with my Wonder Woman set,
mhm.
from the Gal at Excalibur
Yeah, you were
comic,
saying, yeah.
and I think that that was one of the extras that she had that she threw in when I
Oh
got
wow.
all the rest of well, I don't know if she threw it in, I mean, that it was part of. She
Mhm.
sold me those early Batmans too,
Yeah,
29,
yeah, you were
30,
saying, yeah, when we
32.
did the last stream.
I have seen, auctions pricing, on eBay here recently. I just was doing a little bit of sleuthing,
Mhm,
and a lot of the books that I got for 150, $200 just
mhm.
just a few years ago, and they're asking 1,100, $1,200 a throw.
Yeah, I've seen
I
some
I
pretty crazy prices, yeah.
seriously, I have no handle. It's not like I'm going to try to sell them now. I'm not looking to sell, but I realized right away that I'd have to do an awful lot of checking before anything goes away because my memory as far as what it was worth and what the ongoing price or what the prevailing price for stuff is
Mhm,
now, even after the COVID crash, it's stunning how much money is involved on some of these things because I don't know if it's people are seeing them finally or I really don't know what's going on. I'm not looking a gift horse in the
mhm.
mouth, but I am. It's because you have various books. You see a book that you have, you kind of go, oh, what's that going for? Good Lord, $1,100.
I know, it's some
I
crazy
just
price.
can't believe it. But and there it is. So who knew? I mean, it's very interesting.
Mhm.
But I'm okay though, Alan, and I can tell you why because I only ever bought books that I love.
Well, don't buy what you love, okay? Buy what's a
Okay, I'll
good
stop.
investment.
I'll stop. I'm sorry.
Stop buying what you love. It's a bad way to be.
Thanks,
Um,
Ellen. This is fun. I appreciate it. It was a lot of
okay.
fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad. I was worried that I sort of upset you when I put that video out. So
Now,
I wanted to make it up to you. So
no, you had low blood sugar. I took it out
okay.
on you.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. I'm okay. I'll be
You're
okay.
takeable, outable.
It's okay.
I'm
Once
all
the
right.
tear,
The therapy is working. It's all right. Thanks, Steve, a lot.
once the tears stop, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. So yeah.
Good enough.
Okay, so thanks again for hanging out. And thanks everyone else for just hanging out in the chat. I hope you
Thank
enjoyed
you.
the books. Next time we'll actually get Stephen to do some work here too, and he'll have to show some books, or
I look forward to it.
he's
I
gonna be
don't have any here where I am, but I'm with you in spirit, and I look forward
Mhm.
to next time being able to break out some books, and I'll have some other stuff to show too.
Cool. Sounds great. Okay, thanks
All
again.
right.
Bye
See you later.
everyone.